Chief of Party. When the media has a question about Democrats' stance on a certain issue as a party, the media turns to Obama. This is the role he is fulfilling. It is the Chief of Party. Chief of State. As President, Obama is the symbolic representative of the U.S. This role has no power. Commander-in-Chief. Being the head of the military creates this role. Chief Diplomat. The president role of dealing with foreign affairs has given him the title of this, the Chief Diplomat. What does the Chief Administrator role entitle? It entitles the head of the government. Chief Executive. This is when the president is in charge of the executive branch, creating the role of the Chief Executive. The Chief Citizen. Obama represents all people in the country, making him the Chief Citizen. Chief Legislator. Obama has the opportunity to sponsor legislation and set the agendas for Congress. This creates the role of the Chief Legislator. Treaty. An agreement between two separate countries that is ratified by 2/3 of the Senate vote. Bureaucracy. A system of organization built on principles of hierarchical authority, job specification, and formalized rules. How old does the president have to be? 35 years old. The president's power to grant reprieves and pardons in cases involving federal offenses is a clemency. A blanket pardon is also called an amnesty. The power of the president where he is able to veto certain sections of legislation instead of the entire piece of the declared unconstitutional because it was given him too much power. This is the line auto veto. When a president acknowledges the legal existence of a country and its government, that's called recognition. An agreement between the president and another head of state is called an executive agreement. This type of tax is based on a person's ability to pay, such as an income tax. The more you make, the more you pay. This is a progressive. This type of tax is levied at a flat rate regardless of the person's ability tax. This is a regressive one. A directive, rule, or regulation that has the effect of law issued by the president, such as no using a cell phone in government equipment. This is executive order. Teddy Roosevelt developed the stewardship theory. The tariff is a tax on an import, which is a tariff. Who developed the stewardship theory was Theodore Roosevelt. In the beginning, the United States' main ally was the French. Purposeful refusal to become generally involved in the affairs of the rest of the world. That was isolationists. Our Secretary of State is John Kerry. Everything a country says and does in world affairs is known as foreign policy. A Secretary of State, appointed by the President to represent the U.S. on diplomatic issues with a foreign country. That's the Secretary of State. A passport. A document that identifies a person as a citizen of the state, grants that person a right of protection while traveling, and gives them the right to return to their homeland. The Spanish-American War was the event that forced the U.S. out of position in philosophy of isolationism. Our U.S. Secretary of Defense is Ash Carter, which I believe is wrong, but that's okay. At what age are you required to register for the Selective Service? 18. This program is mandatory requirement for all men aged 18 to 26 to register for military service. This is called Selective Service. A pardon is a legal forgiveness of crime. This article of the Constitution creates the executive branch. 2. Article 2. Executive order, a direct rule or regulation that has the effect of law. Legislation. This chamber ratifies treaties. Manifest dynasty. Think back to the 8th grade. This belief is stated that we need to expand our country's borders and believe that it was our God-given right and responsibility to do so. Collective service. A community in which nations would agree to act together against any nation and that threatened the peace of another. Deterrence. Strategy of maintaining the military rights so that the great that is thinking will deter an attack on the country. NATO. This regional security alliance formed in the Cold War to create a level of deterrence against Soviet Union. Parliament. This body within the UN is made up of 15 members and decides when to endorse the use of force. Public policy is anything the government decides to do.